So I'm here with Duncan, and we've been with the PSVR2 for about a week now. Can you give us your sort of verdict in a one sentence encapsulated moment?
Absolutely. It's probably going to be a long rambling sentence, but I'm really enjoying my time with PSVR2. I think it's a really great feature set in terms of a VR headset, especially when you compare it to a lot of the higher end VR headsets on the market. It is admittedly expensive, and that's going to be the biggest barrier to entry for most people. But I think in the long run, if Sony supports it properly, it's going to be definitely worth the price tag.
Awesome. So let's talk about how much it is. It's like £529. How does that compare to, like you said, like the higher end?
So I'd say the most natural comparison I would make is to something like the HTC Vive Pro 2, which is our current like top pick for VR headsets, mainly because it's got the highest resolution and sort of highest end feature set. It's about £700, $800.
I need a whacking great PC to run that, I'm assuming.
Exactly, yeah. And but this is the thing. You're getting a lot of the same features and almost the same resolution and almost the same field of view with PSVR 2, but you're also going to have to spend money on the PS5, and it's only going to work with the PS5 at the moment. So that's the most natural comparison I would make, and I would say it's surprisingly good at competing with a high-end VR headset like that. You've also got stuff like the Meta Quest 2, but 2023 is going to be quite a big year for VR because we've got the HTC Vive XR Elite, which is also coming out this month. And we've got, I think, 2 new Meta headsets coming out as well.
Oh my God.
So it's going to be...
They did the Pro last year as well, didn't they?
Yes, yeah. And so it's going to be an interesting year because VR, the metaverse is creeping into place. And
oh no!
So like the Vive XR Elite is, I think it sort of takes in augmented reality as well, and sort of integrates the two, whereas PSVR2 is very firmly, this is for gaming, this isn't for any social or anything else.
So let's talk about the games a bit, because I think like having played Horizon and a couple of other things on it, like for me the huge difference between this and the PSVR1 is the graphical fidelity. Like there are times where I'm like, this is on par with Horizon Forbidden West or other games of this caliber. Like how would you say it compares?
Yeah, I would say the thing I've noticed most is probably stuff like contrast levels are just so clear, and I think that's down to the OLED panel in there. Again, like comparing that to other higher end VR headsets, the Vive Pro 2 has a LCD panel with a similar sort of refresh rate, but I think you're right, like it's a noticeable difference in terms of graphics.
Yeah, because the colours are so rich and like, everything feels really vibrant, especially for a game like Horizon where that really matters.
Yeah, all the landscapes and stuff you immediately just have to kind of take in, even like, you know, if you
I felt like I was getting dry mouth yesterday because I was just like
totally, yeah. And that kind of sums up the whole experience, is like, no matter how many VR headsets you try, this one is one that continually just makes you sort of chuckle at how real and how present you are in all the games.
What's also great about it is it was like incredibly easy to set up. Like, talk me through that process.
Again, so like not to sound like a broken record, but if you compare it to other VR headsets, stuff like the Vive Pro 2, there's like so much setup involved. There's like, you know, set up these sensors around the room, set up your play space, and that usually takes a long time. PlayStation VR1 had famous problems with how many wires and tethers and how heavy it felt.
That weird little HDMI box thing.
Yes, exactly. And this is just, it's a breeze in comparison. It does all of as soon as you start a play session, it tracks the room really quickly and really
It's really
easily.
cool the way it's not like polygons your entire room.
It's super accurate too. I think we talked before about how accurate it is with the floor and sort of height stuff. But you know, out of the box, you're talking like 5-10 minutes, and that's the first time. And after that point, just the room tracking stuff will take about 5 minutes, if that, before you're actually in a game.
Yeah, we've been moving it around. You know, we've been trying it in the studio, we've been trying it in my house, in the office, and like the ability to kind of just plug it in and it go, oh, you not where you were playing before. Do you want to like set up a temporary space?
Yes.
You have a quick little look around, and it goes, okay, cool. Let's just set this as like a temporary area, which is like. You do want to show it to people and take it to other people's houses once you've got it. So the option to do that and it to be really quick is like, game changer. Definitely. And it's one wire. Yes, it's not wireless like the Quest 2, but like it is one down there.
just one very long
USB-C
wire.
USB-C wire, which is great. I didn't feel like it was getting in the way at all when I was playing.
No, and I think it obviously depends how you play. If you are someone who never uses the analog sticks, you're probably going to get tangled up at some point. But it's not noticeable at all, and the headset doesn't feel as heavy or as sort of weighted down by a wire at all.
It's really comfortable, right? As well.
Yeah, I think it's comfy. I don't know about you. I've been having trouble getting a consistent fit on my face every time. I don't know.
I feel like it slowly sinks.
It does. Yeah, and I don't know if it's because I wear quite thick framed glasses, but it is quite tough to sometimes get a consistent this is where it sits and it's gonna stay there.
Yeah, I think because it's got the eye tracking as well. I feel like unless you've got your eyes at the perfect point, it's always just a little bit out of focus unless you just. But I will say it is. As someone who also majority wears quite chunky glasses, it's the most comfortable glasses experience I've had in VR. Quest 2, I always get pressure points, despite the fact it's sort of glasses accommodating, whereas this is much better in my opinion.
Yeah, it has a really premium feel on your face.
Yeah.
And one thing I do absolutely love, and I think is really underutilized so far, is the haptic feedback in the headband.
Yeah.
In Horizon and stuff, when you have the flying machines over you, it's and you feel that rumble in your head. It's whoa, this is super grounding.
It only happens a couple of times through the game though, which is just
yeah.
I was in a blizzard and you can feel it in the controllers, but I'm just I'm not feeling it in my head. Like a bit of a shame because I constantly forgot it's there. And then when it did happen, I was whoa, what's going on?
I completely agree. It's as soon as it rumbles on your forehead, you're whoa, I want more of that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
What are the launch games looking like? Because I feel like PlayStation is very much talking about launch window rather than what's going to actually be available on day one.
Yeah, well, I mean, even before this, trying to figure out what the actual launch games are is it's quite tough because they've said, there's over 30 at launch and that's launch window, and there's quite a few of those that are made up by ports of existing VR games.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's kind of hard to talk about how many proper VR2, PSVR2 games.
And some of them have free upgrades from if you had the PSVR1 version. Some are £10, $10. So it is very confusing, isn't it?
I mean, if you compare that to PSVR1, I mean, I know you've talked before about how it's kind of disappointing there's no demo disc with this.
Yeah.
Because that, and when you compare the bundles as well with PSVR1, I mean, arguably the sales of PSVR1 sailed because of the bundles that were on offer, and there's only the Horizon bundle with this. So I mean, I think that's probably one of the disadvantages. It has to be, but long run, hopefully, it's something that is remedied, and PlayStation has been making real strides into PC in terms of the PC market this past year. So whether they decide to go right, we're going to make PSVR compatible with PC, or we're going to open things up so that things like PC-specific VR games are going to be more of a feature on the PlayStation Store. That's the sort of thing you're kind of hoping for the investment.
Yeah, because it's weird, isn't it? Because I think on the one hand, if you're new to VR and the PSVR2 is your first headset, there's a kind of a good range of stuff if you haven't experienced the PSVR1 or Quest 2 or whatever. Whereas I feel like people who are probably going to be day one to this are VR connoisseurs. And I'm looking at the lineup and I'm wait, I reviewed that for PSVR1 back in 2017 or whatever it was, before that. And it's just I think there's a sort of imbalance between offering more that is new, because I think there's only Resident Evil 8 VR, the VR version, and the Gran Turismo 7. They're the kind of big system sellers, but we haven't been able to test GT7 or Resi ourselves yet, so it's hard to sort of justify what that launch window or what our suggestions are going to be for that launch window at the moment.
Yeah.
So we've talked about everything from launch games to ease of use to the actual sort of quality of, and we haven't even talked about the controllers, which we'll come on to in a minute. But bearing all of that in mind, would you advise people buy it now or wait and see how everything pans out?
See, it's tough to answer it because right now the price tag is the big barrier. It's the sort of thing that goes, right, well, if I'm gonna pay that much, plus I've already invested in a PS5, you want to have that big library of games ready to you as soon as you boot it up. So I mean, right now, I don't think it's an emergency that you should like go out and buy one. But I mean, is it worth having? Like, is it a good quality VR headset? Absolutely. Like, it's definitely one of the best ones that I've ever tried. And I think, like I said at the start, if PlayStation supports it, and I would have faith that they will. I mean, they didn't just drop PSVR1 and then leave it to die.
Yeah.
They did actually, you know, make sure there were games and support for it going forward. So I mean, I would say, if you want to wait for a price drop, you're not missing out right now.
Yeah.
I can definitely recommend it as someone who's always played games on PlayStation. Like it's integrated into the PlayStation ecosystem so well.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what they do in the future in terms of like, what does a God of War VR experience look like? What is, you know, Sackboy in VR would be amazing, and like, especially because the quality of the games is so high, and so the worlds are so rich, and you're getting much more parity between PS5 and PSVR.
Yeah.
And I think these controllers are a game changer as well, like especially compared to the Move ones of the PSVR1, which were literally PS3 tech, which is maddening, really.
Well, I mean, like, and speaking of PS3 tech, I mean, they still use 6-axis, which is like, PlayStation are so like stubborn. They're like, well, 6-axis will be there. It really is. Like, it tracks really accurately, and like you say, the haptics and the adaptive triggers and stuff, it feels like that feature from the DualSense is actually being utilized in like an excellent way here.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways better than I would say the DualSense ever has, because you are so grounded in whatever experience you're playing. And one thing I will mention as well, even if you don't have a lot of VR games to play, or you're worried about the extra cost of buying more VR games specifically for it, one thing that I've been really enjoying is playing PS5 games just in the cinematic mode. Yeah. Because it's like, it is such a great way of just putting yourself in an experience and taking away all the distractions. So if there's a game that you are really keen to play, shut off everyone and all of your phone notifications, put your VR headset on and just play it like that.
It's great for like you were saying about like families or like flatmates and stuff, being able to have like, it's almost like a built-in second screen in a way. If someone wants to watch a movie, you're like, but I really want to dive into God of War or something.
Yeah. And have your family and flatmates prank you at the same time.
Yeah, just constantly poking you and being annoying. Yeah. But, okay, so with all that in mind, what are we giving the PSVR 2?
I'm going to give it 4.5 stars out of 5. Reason being, I think it's a really high quality VR headset. The controllers, like you say, are great. It's integrated into PlayStation so well. And when you're using it, you immediately sort of understand why you need to invest as much in it as PlayStation wants you to. It is just the question of long-term support and, you know,
justifying that price.
Yeah, getting more games as we go forward. I think, you know, if we're able to like revise scores, that might change. We might, you know, there's more value for money to be had.
There's room for it to grow,
absolutely,
but as long as the support is there and the games are there.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, that's our verdict on PSVR 2. Let us know in the comments below if you have any questions or if you're going to be buying one yourself, because we definitely want to know. But yeah, like and subscribe. Obviously, stay tuned to GamesRadar for more. Thanks very much.